So, if you've got a Janome embroidery machine, you know the feeling, right? You find the perfect JPG image, you're all excited to get started, but your machine just won't read it. Why does that happen? And more importantly, how do you actually fix it for good? Well, in this explainer, we are going to break it all down.
Does that sound a little too familiar? You spend all this time setting everything up, only for your beautiful project to turn into a tangled, shredded mess. Look, this isn't some random machine error, and it's not just bad luck. It's a fundamental translation problem, and it starts way before that needle ever touches the fabric. So what's really going on here?
The reason for all this frustration, it really just boils down to a huge misunderstanding of what these files actually are. You're not just changing a file name from .jpg to .jpef. What you're really trying to do is teach a picture how to speak the language of stitches. And that gets us right to the heart of the problem: pixels versus stitches. On one side, you have these tiny little dots that make up a digital image. And on the other, you have the actual physical instructions your machine needs to create a design. They are two completely different languages.
Think about it like this. A JPG is basically a photograph of a house. It's great. It shows you the color, the shape, what it looks like. But a JEF file, that's the architect's blueprint. It tells the builder exactly where every wire goes, what kind of nail to use, and the precise order to build everything. You can't build a house from just a photo, and your machine can't embroider from one either.
So to really solve this, we need to get a little more specific about what we're dealing with. Let's break down these two file types so we know exactly what they are. First up, the JPG. You see them everywhere. They're the standard for photos, mostly because they're really good at shrinking file sizes. But here is the critical thing for us to remember. A JPEG is nothing more than a map of colored pixels. It contains zero, absolutely no information about stitch direction or density or what type of stitch to use.
And then you have the JEF file. This is Janome's own special format, and it's not an image at all. It's basically a list of commands, a set of instructions. It tells your machine exactly what to do. Put a satin stitch right here. Use this blue thread. Now jump over to this spot. It's the precise technical language your machine was built to understand.
Now, this process of translating a JPEG into a JEF, it has a name. It's called digitizing. And this, right here, is where most people get tripped up. They fall for the promise of an easy shortcut. You know, you've seen them, those websites that promise to convert your JPG to a JEF instantly and for free. You upload your image, click a button, and poof, you get a file. It seems way too good to be true because, well, if you're looking for professional results, it usually is. And this is the key. This is the truth nobody really talks about. These free tools aren't thinking like a craftsperson. They're just tracing. They're doing a quick, dirty, automated outline of your image. There are no artistic decisions, no technical choices being made, and that is a recipe for disaster when you're working with thread and fabric. So what's missing when you just auto-trace and pray? Oh, a lot. An automated tool can't understand that stitch angles totally change how light reflects off the thread, or that the stitch density needs to change for different fabrics. You wouldn't stitch on a delicate t-shirt the same way you would on heavy-duty denim, right? It doesn't clean up those messy, pixelated edges or plan a logical path for the needle to prevent jams and thread breaks. It's just guessing, and it's usually not guessing very well. So if that auto-trace and pray method is not the answer, what is? Well, the good news is there's a proper, reliable process. Let's walk through the actual steps to build a file that works. Okay, so the real process looks more like this. You start with the absolute best image you can find, and you bring it into actual digitizing software, not just some random website. Step 3 is so important. This is where a person, a human, manually traces the design and actually assigns the right stitch types. Then step 4 is where the artistry happens, adjusting all those little parameters the free tools just ignore. Only then do you export the JEF file and this is critical, you test it. Always test it. So knowing the process is one thing, but getting a truly professional result, that really requires paying attention to the details right from the very beginning. So here are a few quick tips to really set yourself up for success. Always start with the highest resolution image you can find. Remember the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. If you have a super complex design, try to simplify it, because what looks amazing on screen can turn into a real thready mess. And finally, embroidery just can't replicate things like smooth color gradients or drop shadows, so just avoid them in your source image from the start. So the big takeaway here is this: digitizing is a craft. It's a skill. It's all about understanding how thread behaves on fabric and making deliberate choices to create a clean, beautiful design. When you skip the skill and just go for the quick shortcut, your final project is going to show it. A bad file is just going to cost you way more time and frustration in the long run. So the next time you have an image you want to embroider, don't just ask if you can convert it. Stop and ask yourself, has it been properly engineered for stitching? Because mastering that process, that's what separates a frustrating afternoon from a beautiful, finished craft.